Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Ruby Girl Talk with your favorite Dr. K. Dr. K in the house. So, tonight, I want y'all to be a little patient with us tonight. I have a special guest on, and she is so awesome. She is so sweet, and her name is Deedee. But before Deedee comes on, what I want to do is just go ahead and I'm going to introduce Ruby Girl because I have new people out there in the audience. But what I want y'all to do for me, I want y'all to share this video. Share it, share it, share it, share it. So, me and Dee tonight, we're going to communicate probably by typing. So just be a little patient with us. Dee is deaf. And so it makes it easier for her if I kind of like type, put her questions in the chat and everything. So if you hear just a little pause, I want y'all just hum, do a little humming. I'm not going to hum because if I hum, then y'all going to be off the broadcast. All right. So let me tell you about Ruby Girl. Ruby Girl comes from Proverbs 31:10. Who can find a virtuous woman for her price is far above the price of a ruby? So, ladies, this is for you only. This makes you rare, virtuous, and most certainly, and as always, valuable. So, the Ruby Girl platform was started so that women, the value of a woman can be restored and to also reconnect women with the Proverbs 31 plus woman. The Proverbs 31 woman, she took care of her household. She was a businesswoman. She was on top of things. She didn't deal with the imposter syndrome. Girlfriend had it going on. But what made her really stand out was that her focus was on God and she utilized every gift, every talent, and probably took some gifts and talents from other people that were around her to make it work. So we're going to start off and I'm going to ask Dee to give me an intro.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Miss Karen. It's so glad to be with you and excited to talk about this topic. My name is DeTanja McCoy Foster. Everyone calls me Dee. I prefer that. Um, I am deaf, have been deaf for about 22 years. Lost my hearing to ear infections. So people still say I speak clearly, which Karen verified there for me. I have recently become a trauma intern certificate recipient, so I can work with trauma people who have trauma, different types of trauma, especially with my advocacy for domestic violence. I am a survivor. I'm trying my best to break generational curses and to tell my story. I hope that does. I really do.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dee. Thank you. So tonight, me and Dee, we're going to talk about um her being a trauma coach first. Because being a trauma coach, most trauma coaches have been through trauma themselves. And then they help other people come out of that trauma. So, Dee, you are a five-time author and a trauma coach. Tell us what a trauma coach does and what is the name of your five books.
Thank you so much. A trauma coach gives you is not in place of a therapist. It's just people tend to learn differently and heal differently. Trauma coaches are another form of therapy, just not clinical therapy. People have a problem, especially us, have a problem going to therapy. So if the window dressing is a little different, they tend to do it. Trauma coaches help you without medication to get through your trauma, to work through your triggers, to know what atmospheres, because certain things, especially when you've had childhood traumas, which mostly is where everything starts, and then it manifests when we get in relationships, whether it be relationships in family, whether it be relationships as partnerships or marriage. And A trauma coach helps you sort through that and give tools to use toward that so that certain things or certain situations don't trigger you to have panic attack or to disengage, go out. Some people pass out. Depends on how bad the trauma is in them. It's better if we learn how to deal with them, and then that way we know how to avoid certain situations or know how to handle them if it's things that we're not going to be able to avoid. Um, I started that before doing this particular project, um, because I'm around kids and my degree is in education. So I wanted to do that. We have a lot of kids that are dealing with it and they don't know how to verbalize. They don't know how to, if we can catch it early, we can have healed adults, if that makes sense. Okay. The 5 books. One was my introduction is She Wouldn't Let Me Fall. And it was taking a woman, again, a Ruby girl, taking a woman and thinking of a woman that supported us through a hard time or supported us, never let us fall, go down the rabbit hole. My person was my adopted mom. She just wasn't hearing it. She let you go out a little bit, but then she bring you on back in and she give you the support and the things that you needed to keep your footing, keep going, let you know that God is your center. She was really the person that introduced me to my religious life and being with God, for him to be my anchor. And I'm so glad that he is. The second book was about healing and how people grieve differently. Grief is different for everybody, and it explains different ways, and there's no length to grief. It depends on the person, and we grieve differently for each situation. You may not grieve the same way for the loss of a job that you do for the loss of a child. It's two different extensions. And people say, well, that's not grief. It is grief. You still go through the 5 stages of that, knowing that because it's a loss. It's a loss that's changed your trajectory that you have to transition through. So that was that one. The next one was how writing can help you heal. Journaling is my most thing that I tell people to please um, find a way to write it down. It doesn't have to be coherent to anyone but you, unless you're sharing those thoughts with someone. You're writing, unless you're publishing it, does not have to be coherent to anyone but you. If you're thinking about something, something gets you started, something makes you hyper, and you want to work through it, it does not have to be coherent to anyone but you, because it's healing you. Um, the next one has not been published yet. It's called I Am, and it talks about who you are. And mine was tenacity, because my deafness, I didn't have any preparation for it. It just came up, and I didn't have any preparation for it. I literally was could hear when I went to bed that night on the 30th of September, and October 1st, I woke up and I could not hear anything. So people say I don't do things the same way, but I keep God as my anchor, and I never ask why he did it. I just asked him to show me. Now that doesn't always mean our road is clear. It just means he will show us what we're supposed to do with it. Um, and now this last one was my scariest, I think. This one is about domestic abuse. And we want to get out there and tell everybody that it doesn't look like what you think. You know, you may see a lady in a grocery store, everything is in place, everything is perfectly, and when she goes home and takes off the makeup, everything is not as it seems. But we want to also know that Unbound, which is the name of the book, is a collective anthology. And it also talks about men and their plight in domestic violence, because I think people forget that men also go through domestic violence. Um, and because of the masculinity, it's harder for them to come out and talk about what they've been through, how they've been through. But we want them to know that they're not alone as well. We had a conference
Absolutely.
and release this past weekend, and the room was just filled. You could feel God in that room. The Holy Spirit was working in that room. The healing was starting. And that's when, if you heal one person and teach them how to get out of a situation, you've helped them. And our book says that. It tells about our experiences, but it also is filled with resources from different states, of shelters, resources of how to get out, resources to get help if you have children or don't have children, resources to help plan your plight to get out. We wanted to make it informative so that we understood. People sometimes don't know how to start. They don't know how to, and then they're thinking, I got 3 kids, I got to try to get out. We also want to explain there's different types of domestic abuse. People always think that the physical is just domestic violence. My story is more, mine was more verbal, emotional, spiritual, financial. All those things play into how the narcissist gets you, how they love you. They may love bomb you. Everything's perfect. They're mimicking the way that you love. So you see it and you say, oh, this person is perfect for me. And everything's going right. You should always see your partner or anyone in any stages. You should always see them angry, when they don't have, when they do have, when they're happy, when they're sad, because you don't know how they're going to react. That's how abuse starts. People who have not healed their trauma put it on other people.
Mm, that
And
makes
I
sense.
can't stress that enough. Financial abuse is when a person made, in my experience, is it was, I would buy something or go get groceries. If I did not get what that person wanted or get the right thing, they would make me take it back. If I use their money, if
Mm-hmm.
I use my money, I could do whatever I want to do. But if I depended on them to do it, you have to almost beg that person to do something for you, because they
Wow.
have to feel like you owe them
Mm-hmm.
or they have control. It's all about control. And a lot of times when people, I grew up with physical abuse, um, with being in foster care, with being around me. I had a friend that got shot in her driveway
Mm-hmm.
by her ex-husband. She had everything in place, the B-52, the B-50, the restraining order, and he drove by one day on her way getting in there.
Mm. Okay. We're gonna pause just for a moment because I
Okay.
don't want you to give them too much.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we're gonna go to the second question. I know y'all was on the edge of y'all seat. I'm sorry, y'all. I want to keep y'all on the show all night.
That's
Y'all ain't getting everything in
so
2 minutes.
excited. It's okay.
That's okay. That's okay. I understand. You here with your favorite Ruby girl. It happens, girl. It happens. And
Yes,
so the next question, as a trauma coach, the women who have been through domestic violence, what are some strategies or tools that you use to help them reclaim their sense of self-worth and heal emotionally?
okay. When most people who leave a domestic violence relationship always think about the cost. I don't have money. I don't have this. Where am I going to lay my head? What you have to decide is the peace worth more than the cost? And I know that sounds different because I'm out of it, but that's what you have to decide. We get fed up way before we get to we want peace. It's just you have to decide when your fed up is. When you're helping someone with that, provide a safe place for them, but let them know they can come to you at any time.
Mhm.
Let them know they can call you at any time. It does not have to be monetary help, but when you're ready, you have to be willing to lose in order to stay alive sometimes. A lot of people leave out of a situation and they leave everything they have, because if you think about moving, you got to take time to move all that. You got to set aside time to get yourself together. Sometimes you don't have that. Some people only have the amount of time that a person goes to the grocery store. And this is my window. This is what I need to get out. So you leave. You can go to any police station. You can go to any fire station. You can go to social services, women's shelter. Do your research that is so important. Do your research so you're not out there fumbling, trying to figure out every little step. Keep you, even if they give you money for groceries or give you money for gas, every two little dollars helps. If you start saving up $2 that they're not gonna miss, or a dollar here, or get brave enough. I need something. Take the fussing. They're gonna fuss anyway. Take the fussing, get the money. Yeah, I mean they're gonna fuss anyway.
That's true.
You don't see that when you're in it until you're fed up. So you just say, okay, I'm gonna take that fussing, and they're gonna give me what I need. you know, give me. I need $20. I know I messed up my money. I did. Okay, but they give you $20. There's $10 for you to do something you need to do, and there's $10 that you need to put in your getaway stash. Okay, but you need to do your research and see how far you have to go to get to a safe place. Make sure that you know that before you leave out if you can. But if you can't, those three places that I said, you can go to them anytime. Hospitals. Let's add a hospital to that. You can notify your doctor when you're at the doctor. I've noticed they ask that now. Are you safe in your
Yes,
home?
they do.
You know, and we always think, yeah, I'm fine. No big deal. I need you to remember this, because this is something working in the health field I didn't think about. Even I was in the health field for 30 something years. When you go into the room, an emergency room, it doesn't matter what you're in there for. You can ask them for privacy. Now, the abuser's going to get upset, but the healthcare worker's going to know what you want. So they can make them step out so you can be honest and say, I need help. I'm not safe at home. I need to get out. And some people say, well, my kids are at home. When you decide that, make sure the kids are with you. If you decide that and you need to go to the emergency room, find a reason to take the kids with you. Well, they've been stuffy too. We should get them checked out. Whatever you need to do to get those children with you if you have children. I didn't have to do that. Several women in our group had to do that, and a few didn't have to do that. So we had both realms. We had both, but I still had to figure out how to get out of the situation. And when I left, I had nothing.
Wow.
And a lot of people have nothing, but we're trying to make it so you don't feel like you start out with nothing. A lot of people don't leave because of that.
Wow. You gave some very great tips that I never even thought about, like going to the hospital, going to the firemen. We always think police, but we never think about those safe places also. So for somebody out there, if you know someone that's going through abuse, or if it's you that's going through abuse, she just gave some great tips. She said you can go to the firehouse, you can go to the hospital. If you go through emergency, make sure your children are with you. I love that because God led me last year to write a journal to women that are being abused, that's in that abuse. And
Right.
nobody thinks about giving those women tools other than pepper spray, you know? So now she has a journal where if she's being abused, it'll tell her, walk her out. And I wish I had known what you just said. I could have put that in the journal, so that she'll know, hey, these are some more safe places for you. And you were talking about earlier about men. We really don't talk about the violence against men because it happens so much to us as women, and we're always been portrayed as being the weaker sex. It's hard, honestly, for a woman to overpower a man. Now, some women can do it. My cousin, I'll just put out there, I know our cousin, her friends, I've seen them fight men. They fight them, and let me tell you this, the men were not getting the best of them. I'll put it like that. So we're going to take a break,
That's true.
a
That's
60-second break. And so during the break, I'm going to go on Facebook, and then I want you to give us 60 seconds of words of encouragement. You ready?
okay. So my encouragement for you is the Satan comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And the abuser comes to do the same thing. Okay. They become a person that you won't recognize. And I need you to remember that this is not the person you fell in love with. This is not the person that you in a relationship with. Okay. This is somebody else. So you need to remember that Satan, Danielle Williams McCoy was our speaker, one of our speakers this weekend. And she said, Satan cannot kill purpose. And everyone has a purpose. God has a purpose for you being here, for you going through the things that you do. There's not an end all. They don't control you. And you got this. We got you.
Oh, okay. Can you give us your contact information?
Yes. You can reach out to me on Facebook. It's Deedee McCoy Foster. If you need help or you want contact about the book and you would like to purchase the book, you can do that through me. If you need help getting out of a situation, please don't hesitate to contact me. You can email me. I do need to say that whenever you're reaching out, if you're using social media, make sure you clear your cookies. Make sure you clear your data. Make sure you clear your cookies. Don't let anyone see or find what you're looking for. Most, if you look up on the 911 website, it'll first say, watch behind you, clear your cookies. Clear your cookies so that nobody knows what you're looking for. That means your phone and your computer. Okay. But you are welcome to reach out to me. I'm also on Instagram, and I'll give you more information after that. We have to be safe. Your information is safe with me. I will also always keep you in a safe place.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
very welcome. Thank you, Ruby girl.
You're welcome, my favorite Ruby girl. So we're going to the second part of the show. And so during the second part of the show, we kind of switch it a little bit. We talked about how Deedee helps people as a trauma coach, how she helps people get through domestic violence, the trauma that they suffer. You know, when you come out of domestic violence, it can be emotional, it could be physical. You know, we just think of physical when it comes to domestic violence, but it's way more than just somebody hitting you. They first get you in your mind. For you to allow someone to put their hands on you like that, they have to have control of your mind first. And then once they got control of your mind, they have beat you down to where you second guess what's going on. You start to blame yourself. And so a lot of it is just like she says, Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And you got to think this is not the person that you fell in love with. This is not the person that presented themselves. That person was a representative of who they truly are. And I think a lot of domestic violence victims stay in it because they keep hoping things are changed, or they think about the 5 minutes of the good time, but they forget about the 10 minutes of him calling you different names and stuff like that. But it's like that in any abusive relationship, that toxic relationship. You dwell on the good. You suck up the good. You so thirsty when you get the good that you forget. Sometimes you get more bad than you do good. And so that's why all this month I've basically been talking about domestic violence awareness, because it's something that my mother, she went through with my father. I never thought about it. I seen members of my family go through it. And the thing about the women in my family, we're kind of tough about that. We kind of like, I'll hit first before I'll get hit when it comes to domestic violence. My like around my generation, I had a cousin. She would go from down south to up here, and just, the guy was just chasing her back and forth between states. And then once she got away from him and realized who she was, she said no more. And so she became more so the aggressor in relationships. She did not allow a man ever again to put his hands on her. She would take him out first before she'll allow that. So I always admired her courage. I always admired her strength. But coming out of domestic violence relationship, there's some residue that has to be dealt with. There's some trauma that sticks to you like glue. You might be out, but then you need mental healing also. But a lot of times we think we're out of it, we okay, but you still can be triggered. It could be a smell, it could be a certain TV show, it could be anything that can trigger you and put you right back in that moment, even though you're free. So, Deedee, I'm gonna give you the next question. I'm gonna
Yeah.
paste it in the chat.
My story, I had, listen, we kept trying to think to this week, what was my red flags that I missed? You missed the jokes. Okay. They'll make jokes. Jokes were made at my expense. Um, oh, Didi doesn't do so and so, or she does this all the time. She always burns rice. Let's just say something simple like that. She always burns rice. That leads up to another conversation to just keep on talking bad about you. But you joke along with it because you say, yeah, I do. I burn rice all the time, but you eat it. So it's no big deal. It's not
Mm. Dozens.
right. You won't realize that you're laughing right along with them, but after a while, it becomes they're beating on you because they're always making you the scapegoat. It was I noticed in relationships, I would be taking advantage of, like the jokes, especially after I lost my hearing, or you're not inclusive. Um, I was alienated from my family and my friends. They make you the center of everything that they do. It's always their friends, always their family, always their activities. But you'll notice that they never show up for yours. They will, several times, every holiday was messed up. Birthdays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, something was done to make them horrible, to make them horrible. So what happens is, when holidays come around, I get a little antsy, and want to be busy because I love Christmas, love Thanksgiving, love being with my family. But I'm noticing for years I wasn't around them. I wasn't at functions. Your person will always come up with another activity that they need you to do on the same day as your family's activity. Um, there's certain things I needed done, me being deaf. Phone conversations are hard sometimes. They take twice as long as it did when I was hearing. You jump on the phone, you have a 5-minute conversation. That conversation is not going to be 5 minutes anymore. That conversation is going to be at least 15. So you have to make time for it. So it was just easier to ask someone, will you make this appointment for me? Will you call this person back for me? And now everything's automated. That is a deaf person's nightmare. I mean, you go in, you press 1, then they say leave a message. Well, you can't hear the beep. Caption doesn't tell you that there's a beep. So it lets you know that all the words, it says all the words to you, but it doesn't tell you when the beep was. So you have to kind of figure that out. Um, I was left alone a lot. Um, and you do differently when you become deaf. I'm a very independent person, but I wouldn't go anywhere. So they always knew I was going to be at home. They always knew I was going to go to work, go to church, come home. Or if I was going to be with my family, they knew that too. And that was okay as long as they were working or had a different schedule than me, But when they wanted me, I needed to be right there. They'll stop eating your food. I cooked every day. I was trying to be that Proverb 31 woman, and I was every day
All right, Ruby girl.
watching shows. Yeah, doing everything I'm supposed to do, plus working 40 plus a week. And you let somebody in your life and you fix dinner and they say, all right. Or they bring a takeout box home. And you say, really? Really? But you notice they're doing it on purpose. You've let them know you say, okay, well, let me let them know that I'm cooking. Yeah, this was on purpose. This was actually on purpose. Um, Anytime I got sick, not sick, it was done on purpose to control me, to make
Oh
me,
wow.
to belittle me, because I had wasted my time cooking. I had come home, made sure everything was in order, cooked. This is even when you're dating, so people can't, I don't want people to think that domestic violence only happens when you're married. It happens when you're dating. And if it's happening when you're dating, you don't need to marry that person. You need to
That's
see
true.
those red flags of that. Cheating, coming home late, leaving you out of things. They go do activities and they don't include you. It might be simple things. Let me think. Sometimes he wouldn't want me to go. He would say he just needs his time by himself.
Can cheating be a
Cheating
form
is
of
a form of
DV?
domestic violence if it demeans you.
Okay.
Okay, it's a form of emotional alienation because they're emotionally attached to someone else. And
Mm.
that's where emotional affairs start. So that's a form of domestic violence because they can't be two places at one time. So they
Wow.
have to make you mad so they can get a reason to leave out the house to go be with the other person.
Wow.
So you don't know how far that's going to escalate in order how badly they want to get out, how badly they want to be wherever they want to be. But just remember, everything can't be your fault.
That's true.
It's two people in a relationship. So everything can't be your fault. But they get your self-esteem so far down that you say, okay, you find yourself saying, I'm sorry. People tell me now I say I'm sorry for a whole lot of things all the time. So the emotional, the spiritual, you go through, why is God have me in this? Why is this happening to me? You know, I'm going to church, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So those are different. Those are different. But the verbal, when you can verbally abuse a deaf person, you're a strong person
Wow.
because I can't hear you.
Yes. Yes.
So people always ask, how did it trigger you? How did it bother you? But I had abuse before when I was hearing. You know, it's different when you can react. When you react to something you hear. When you deaf, you don't react to it. You act. You see the body language, you see the tense in their throat, the tension in their face, tension in their body. You have to watch the cues. And the people do that even when you're not there. So watch people's body language.
Mm.
Watch how they approach you. Watch how they come in the house. Watch that you're working late. Watch that you hate going home.
Wow. How did you get out?
I ask God for confirmation. Is how I got out. I said, God, I feel like I'm crazy. I feel like maybe because I'm not gonna go out looking for you. I'm not going out looking for you. I'm not going out looking. My mama said, if you go looking for something, you're gonna find something. I'm not trying to go out there looking for you, trying to run around in the streets looking for you. I'm not gonna do that. Okay. What's meant for me is meant for me, and it's gonna be for me. And anything that's sent by God, it doesn't have confusion. I need you to remember that. It's not confusion. It comes with clear flight. Is a path with it. And I got fed up. I had no job. I had nothing. Um, I slept in my car. I stayed in my car for 8 months because I needed to rent out my house because I didn't have the money to pay my mortgage. All those programs that I tell people to go to, I felt shame to go to because I had worked all my life. I was supposed to take care of me. That's the way I was told, and I didn't. I was afraid to tell family because everybody thought so highly of their person, and they'll always think so highly of their person. No, they not. They not doing it. Okay, so don't say anything. Get used. I got used to not telling my side of the story. I got used to not defending myself because I had to defend myself in the relationship. So I'm not going to defend myself with other people. You have to decide that. You have to decide they didn't live that.
Mm.
And one day I just left. Like I said, I left with everything. I didn't have anything with me. I was out literally one day at the store and said, I'm tired. I'm
Wow.
tired. I can't do this no more. And I can't, and it was wintertime. So it's not like, and it was pandemic time and it was wintertime.
Oh, wow. So that was something recent that I'm thinking like this has been like years ago that this had happened to you, but you talking about in the pandemic, so that's less than
Exactly.
like 4 years ago. So we only have like a few minutes, and I really want you to just talk about your book. We got like probably about 3 minutes. So I want you to talk
Exactly.
about your new book, Unbound.
People don't. It doesn't have to be. Don't let it be the last hit that makes you leave. When you ask, I asked God for confirmation. He gave me confirmation. Be ready for it if you ask Him for it. It may not look like what you want it to look like, but He will give you confirmation. Okay. And the book, how I became in the book, is Tina Marie, who got the book together, bless her soul, because she
Mhm.
had to do all this, the editing and
Ooh.
everything. She is my soul sister beyond. She contacted me and asked me, had I gone through that? And I said, yes, ma'am. And she said, would you be willing and part of my anthology? Now, she's my scribe sister from one of my very first books. And that was 100 women. I don't know how, but we did wonderfully. I don't know 100 women that can be in the same room and not disagree, but we did well. We did very well. But Tina Marie got this together and she did the conference. She contacted everyone. We had somebody from the Bahamas, from Jamaica. She went way out to get this. So I'm so proud of this book, Unbound. Y'all need this. You
Mm.
need this. You need to know that you're not alone.
So, do you tell your story in the book?
Yes, ma'am. I tell my story extensively in the book. Um, and that was a process.
Mm.
Always remember when you're writing also that it's gonna bring up feelings and emotions, but that's you clearing away. That's you healing and clearing away. So, and she went through that with us. Tina Marie went through that with us. She called us, checked on us, tried to make sure we were okay. And she's a survivor as well. Um, but she wanted to make sure we didn't get stuck and decide not to tell our story.
Okay.
But this is the first time I've told my story, and you're the first time I've done it publicly, other than the conference.
Oh, wow. I have a
Woo!
lot of people on my show that share their stories for the first time, and I'm excited about that because that's part of the platform. Because I believe when you talk about it, it gives the enemy less power to keep you oppressed. Because once it's out there, he
Right.
flees because he's like, now it's no longer a secret. Now everybody know what's been happening, and now she's unbound for me. And that's how when I told my story on the biggest platform I ever stood on, when I walked off, I felt so free. I had lose some change. It was like the enemy was like, I can't do anything with her anymore. So I'm gonna have you do a quick 2 minute close for us. You can say anything you want to say.
I thank you for this opportunity. You are my blessing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And you continue your Ruby Girl. If y'all don't know about that Ruby Girl, y'all need to check with Miss Karen about that.
Okay, talk about your book and give us some encouragement.
Okay. I need you to remember that you're not by yourself. It feels like you're lonely and it feels like nobody else in the world would ever understand what you're going through. They will. People who you don't even think have been through it because they haven't told their story.
Mm.
People have asked me, do you think you're gonna have backlash? I don't care. If I keep another person, especially especially a woman. of color that is trying to break generational curses. If I help a woman or man that are deaf or have any disability and feel like that they cannot get out of a situation, I want them to know that they're not by themselves. I tell people that death has no color. That's the one thing about our community. We don't have any color. You deaf, you deaf. There's no, we don't see color really. Um, Domestic violence is like that once you realize and get your community. There's no color. There's just likeness, same journey, sharing that. So I need you to know that you're enough. You're enough. Dispel everything they said to you. We're always enough.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Thank you so much. You did so well. You really did well tonight. I
Dr.
want to
Tammy.
I appreciate you for sharing your story. I appreciate you for being bold and brave enough to come on the interview. And you did excellent. So everybody that's out there, I want to say good night. And for those that are in domestic violence, I do once again put out that like Deedee said, it takes two people to be at fault in a relationship. It can't always be your fault. And then, so if this man has gotten in your mind so hard that he's telling you that you can't get away, God has always made a way of escape for us. There's always a door of escape. You have to pray, you have to fast, and you have to be cunning about your mistake. And you have to detach yourself from everything that you're connected to. You might have to walk away and never look back. You might not, to save your life, you might not even be able to contact your family for a while, or maybe even ever, to be honest. It can be that serious for some people that's in domestic violence. I read stories all the time about how they're killing women, how there's cold cases where women have been killed and nobody know what happened to them. Violence against women has been going on all, how can I put it, ever since the world has started. And it's because the enemy, when the Lord when the Lord told him that he was putting it into me. Oh, let me see. No, intimate. I can't say the word, y'all. Put this decision. There we go. Put some enemy static between the her seed and his seed. That's all the devil needed to know to wreak havoc on us. We're discriminated against. We have to work twice as hard as everybody else. We abuse, we put down, we fight against each other, we hate against each other. We just so devalue. And that's why the Ruby Girl platform is so needed. Because once a woman know who she is, she know how she should be treated. And women back in the day, we were respected. Men didn't cuss in front of us. Men protected us. But now a man can be going off on another woman and a man will look a whole nother way. You can be trying to lift up heavy groceries, and it used to be a time, baby girl, I got that. But some of it's our fault. Some of it's our fault. But you know what? It's never too late. It's never too late to turn this thing around. So, Miss Deedee, thank you so much. And so,
Welcome.
everybody on
Welcome.
Facebook, we're going to leave Facebook, but I want you to know this. Tune in next Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, Facebook, I just want to tell you good night. And as always, I'm your favorite Ruby girl. And thank you for watching the live, or thank you for watching the replay.